Have a look at this return of serve. It looks pretty good. It keeps it cross court away from the net player, but it's fairly deep and allows Gasquet to hit a really deep backhand volley. And as you can see, the net team are really well set up there. Not many places to go, and the pressure, as much as anything else, forces the baseline player to overhit his return. Now straight away, let's have a look at the same setup a couple of points later. So as you can see, exactly the same setup. Gasquet serving from the advantage court, and he comes in behind his serve to look for the volley. Backhand return this time, but he gets the ball down, angled away from the net player, and forces Gasquet to hit a half volley because he gets the ball to bounce in front of him. He can't hit as much pace or depth on it, and therefore the baseline player has a really good crack at the ball. Again, fairly low over the net, but it's probably a 50-50 now because Gasquet can't get as much length and depth and power on his volley. And then an absolutely brilliant backhand rolled cross-court angled there, which forces Gasquet to attempt a very low pickup, which he can't make, and he puts the ball in the net. But the whole point is this. We saw the first point where he hit a fairly good return, what most club players would call a good return, but that allowed Gasquet, the oncoming volleyer, to punch a good deepish volley with a bit of pace, and that really put the baseline player under a lot of pressure because Gasquet was then able to follow his volley in. The net team took up a great position at the net, not many places to go with the baseline shot, and he's overhit it. A couple of points later, Gasquet serves, volleys. The return is angled down and kept low in front of Gasquet, who has to just push the ball over with a half volley. Not as much pace, not as much depth, primarily because it's a much harder shot to execute. Allowed the baseline player to come round and hit his forehand with a lot of force and a lot of pace. Weakish return by Gasquet, where he couldn't get as much attacking intent and pace on his volley, even though it was pretty good. But again, the rolled backhand down low over the net and down to the net player's feet forced the error. So have a think about your returns. You don't always have to return deep and long like you tend to have to do in singles, especially when you've got an oncoming volleyer. You really want to think about how you can get the ball down to their feet so they can't hit a really forcing, telling volley, and that allows you to set up as the returner with your next shot to perhaps have a go at them, or certainly to increase your options to another pass, or maybe even a lob, because you've got a bit more time and a bit more space